So, Misha, in McMafia, you describe the mafia as having a global influence, as a globalized phenomenon. So exactly how far does this influence reach? What is the extent of this phenomenon?
The mafia started globalizing in the wake of two major events. One was the Big Bang inaugurated by Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, which was the freeing of capital controls largely for big corporations, but it meant that people could move money around the world much easier than they did do in the past. And then the second was the fall of communism and the creation of this huge ungoverned space for a period of time in Eastern Europe and across the former Soviet Union. So they exploited these two things, but they also understood not only how to access the mechanisms of globalization, such as tax havens through which they could launder money and things like that, but also they understood how to access people in government and people in the media and people in positions of influence, so that what you saw was not just classic mafia activity. You saw a melting in the middle of licit activity and illicit activity into this big grey area. And that's where we remain at the moment, such that several presidents around the world certainly have dodgy links which one could identify as mafia links.
And obviously, investigating this as an outsider, what challenges has that brought with it?
Well, it had huge challenges at the time when I wrote the book. I was fortunate because I was covering the wars in the former Yugoslavia, and this is where I did the initial investigation. And I'm a sort of minor celebrity in the former Yugoslavia, and so access to people was not that difficult. And at the time, a lot of people involved in organized crime argued very forcefully that they were actually getting the economy going and getting food on the table and things like that. Then I had to travel around the world and meet people involved in organized crime, and that was organizationally, administratively, a really stressful operation, and the whole thing took me sort of 3 to 4 years, but worth it in the end. And once you have a kind of oversight of how things function and what the mechanisms are, it's quite easy to get back into it if you want to investigate a new or a specific case.